Welcome to this live stream today on YouTube. Why don't you let me know what part of the world that you're tuning in this evening, this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is in your neck of the woods, your part of the world. Every time we do these live streams on YouTube, we get people from every single part of this planet. We get people from North America, down here in Australia, all through the Pacific, through South America, through Europe. So I love hearing what part of the world you're tuning in from. Some of you, it's the weekend. For me, it's Monday morning, ready to go with a new week. I've got some exciting things I want to share with you today. Some exciting ideas that have come into my consciousness over the weekend, and I'm really stirred up about what we're moving into. Who knows, we're moving in pretty exciting times. I think most of us are aware, even those that aren't fully spiritually awake are aware that we're in pretty different types of times. Those of us that are aware and awake know what's going on at an intuitive level. Who knows that we create everything in our reality? Everything from the good to the bad to the indifferent, we're creating it. This is our life and our projection. We're creating it through what? Our consciousness. This is why consciousness is so important, because your consciousness is going to project the reality that you experience. According to what that consciousness is, that's either going to be a wanted reality, an intentional created reality, or an unwanted one. See, this is how powerful we are when we take responsibility, that we're creating this reality. There are going to be a lot of people that disagree with that. There will tend to be those that are creating an unwanted reality. Of course, they don't want to accept and take responsibility that they are architecting their life. But we're creating it nonetheless. One thing that Dolores Cannon, my teacher, taught me, and let me know if you know who Dolores Cannon is, if you resonate with her teachings, is that we create our reality and that we can't change anybody else's reality. Now, of course, a lot of us try to do that. We try to save another individual, we try to rescue another individual. Those of us that have tried that have probably realized this, that you cannot really save another person. Sure, you can try to intervene and give help and support, but you can't really save another person. The only person that we can truly save is ourselves. And Dolores Cannon taught me that only we can really work on our consciousness. And when we do that, yes, we can be vastly impactful on others, but we can't really change or convert anybody. Often people tune into these live streams and think I'm trying to convert or preach a message. I make it very clear, I'm not trying to change anybody. The only person I've ever tried to change is myself, because I am my responsibility. And you are your responsibility. Sure, you can be inspired by guides and teachers, but it is only really you that can do the work. And of course, if we're not ready, that is okay, because not everybody, particularly during these times, is ready to expand their consciousness. In fact, a lot of people now I'm witnessing are further digressing into negativity. This is why we see such a polarization, particularly online, without all of the social filters that we see between positive and negative. It's so pronounced online. I never derive a sense of self from either the good or the bad, neither should you, because the only opinion that really matters when you move all of the noise out of the way is really what you think of yourself. And we get so caught up in comparisons to other people, in what people think of us, either good or bad. All that is noise. All of that is distraction. The only opinion that truly matters is that which you think about yourself. And let's start there for you is, what do you really think about yourself? When I started my work years ago, this was the number one area that I began to work with people on. I saw time and time again that the number one thing that people failed to do in their own lives was to really love themselves. I would see this happen with every type of person in society, from those that the world perceives as enormously successful, right down to those that hadn't accomplished a lot in the physical. It was the same condition I saw over and over again, is this lack of love. Why is that? Why do highly empathic people tend to put other people first before themselves? We're almost conditioned to really not look after ourselves. Those that have been brought up in religion have been almost conditioned to believe that it's self-indulgent to love thyself, that you need to love everybody first. I think we're coming out of a lot of that outdated thinking, because you can't really truly love another person until you fully accept and embrace yourself. This is the first thing that you really need to do in order to be of more service to other people. I want to check in with some of you and see who has joined us today. We've got people here. Hello to you. We've got people, Sharon and Stacy and Aaron and Tammy. Great to see you all tuning in. And I've got something I want to read to you as well. Your job is you. This is kind of an extension of what I've been talking about here. You cannot create other people's lives for them. You cannot think for them. You cannot try to force your opinions on others, because you will only attract the same happening to you, because what you put out, you get back. So let others create their own lives the way they want to create them, and focus on your unlimited power, creating the most magnificent life for yourself. See, when you cease to really care what other people think, suddenly you're free to be your authentic self. What is the worst? This is a question that I asked myself recently. What is the worst somebody can do to you if you put yourself out there? When I really gave that question some thought, my conclusion was the worst someone can really do is criticize you. And what they're doing really with criticism is just projecting their own criticism onto you, onto another. See, this is how the law of attraction works. This is how everything works. Whatever we put out comes back to us. What you give out is reflected back to you. If you are critical of others, others are going to be critical of you. If you go around criticizing others, you're going to be harshly criticized. So we really have to question what we put out into the world. We have to question it, because we have to say, is that what I want to come back to me? Do I want more of that in my life? Or am I putting out more of what I want to get back in life. That is why self-love is so important. When you project confidence, when you project a healthy self-image, people are attracted back to you. You shine, you influence, you have respect because you have that for yourself. Say this after me: everything in my life is a projection of my consciousness. Everything in my life is just a projection. And I discussed this last week, is the universe is really just a mirror back to you of your state of consciousness. The universe's predominant job is to reflect back to you. It is you that is creating your life. Often we think when it comes to the law of attraction that the universe is going to bring to us the stuff that we want. I would suggest it's more accurate to say the universe's job is more to project back to you your state, what you are reflecting at it. You are the creator of your reality. You are the architect of your reality. You're creating this. And you might say, yeah, but I've got all of these unwanted things in my life. Why would I create those? I've had adversity. I've had tragedy. Our thoughts in themselves are not powerful. And yes, they become powerful. Thoughts can be very powerful. But in and of themselves, they are not powerful. They become powerful because we are powerful. And what you give your attention to, either positive or negative, is going to expand and become your experience. If you're having a majority of negative thoughts all of the time about yourself and about the world, then the world you live in will be vastly negative, because that's what you've identified with. And you'll see evidence of that show up everywhere you look, because that is what you're projecting. So that's going to be projected back. When you accept this, when you accept that you are infinite awareness, and you get to choose what you give your attention to, and what you give your attention to expands and becomes your experience, suddenly you start to really analyze and do what I do, is you really start to do the inner work, because the inner work is going to set the direction of your life. Am I off the screen for some reason? I'm looking down at my screen. Okay. I think we popped there out for a second. I think it's YouTube. We've probably got some lagging today. It can happen from time to time. I do everything I can via my end to prevent any delays or lagging, but it's sometimes just YouTube and the connection to YouTube. So please bear with me when the lagging happens. It can often be busy times on YouTube or the internet that can cause the laggy. And you obviously know we're live when this happens. So I'm going to give it a moment or so just to catch up. I'm back. You broke up, I know. Let's pause for a second and just allow this to catch up into normal time, because I've got a little screen down here where I can stay tuned with this to see if this is still coming through, and it looks like it's a little bit laggy. So let me just slow down, take a break. And while we're doing that, Aaron, why don't we go to some of the questions that came through via email? Gives us a chance to just pause and reset. Aaron will type that in the comment section. some of the questions that we've got coming in via email. All right, so Michael inquires, can the law of attraction help improve my health? And if so, how? Michael, the law of attraction, like the law of physics, is always working. The question really is, are we working it according to what we want? The law of attraction is always working. And although we might say, well, it's not working for my health because I want to be healthy and I'm not attracting health, the law of attraction never gives you what you want. Say that after me. The law of attraction is not going to give me what I want. Michael, the law of attraction is going to give you what you are, because it's all it can do. It's a law, and all it can do is reflect like a mirror back to you what you are. When you understand that we live in a magnetic universe, we live in a reflective universe, everything just gets magnetized back to us, which we already are. This is why you're never going to attract really what you want in life until you first become it. If you want perfect health, first you have to see yourself as perfectly healthy before you're going to manifest that into your experience. This is why when it comes to affirmations, affirming I am statements is very critical when it comes to what we believe. See, if we believe that our health is just out there a little bit, and we're trying to connect with it, we're trying to get to it, your health's always going to be a little bit out there. First, you have to convince or believe yourself that you are already healthy. Then what the universe is going to do is it will agree with that, and then it will bring that to you through your belief, through your attraction. So you can't get anything until first you believe it. Now you might say, yeah, but I can't believe it because I'm in pain, Paul. I can't believe it because I see the manifestation every day. So you have to get your identity identified with what you want rather than what you don't want. See, our condition today is a result of the thoughts that we had yesterday. All of the thoughts that we've had up until this point of our life have created this moment in our life. Now, the first thing most people will say, yeah, but why would I create illness in my body? Who would do that? I was reading one of Dolores Cannon's books yesterday. It was the Convoluted Universe, book 4. And she spoke about this phenomena. In fact, I'll tell you a little story around this. It's important. A lot of people used to come to Dolores Cannon when she was a practitioner, and they used to ask, why didn't I have an experience like I read in the books? I wanted to have that experience. There was one woman in particular, and she wanted to be healed, and she blamed Dolores Cannon for not healing her. She said actually when she left having a session with Dolores that she was worse off after the session than when she came. She rang up Dolores Cannon. She was very angry, very irate that she didn't get what she wanted. Now, of course, Dolores, 40 years of experience, 40 years of asking questions and understanding the human condition, always wanted to be of help to people. And she wrote almost a whole chapter on this particular issue in her book, The Convoluted Universe, book 4. She discovered that not everybody really wanted to be well. There are those that so identify with their illness, with their ailment, they would say, who would I be without this? What would I have without it? Now, they don't even recognize this consciously. Of course, unconsciously, or consciously rather, they think, sure, I want to be well, I'm done with this. But when she would take people into the subconscious, she would realize that not everybody wanted to be well. In fact, some so identify with illness, they don't even know who they would be without it. They like the sympathy they get from others. They don't have anything else going on. It consumes all of their time. It's so much of their identity that they don't know who they are without it. Who knows some of those people? Sure, if you ask them if they want to be well, they'll, of course, at a conscious level say they do. But you know they so identify with being that way, they wouldn't know who they were without it. Dolores Cannon went on in this chapter to say that even Jesus couldn't heal everybody, because often Jesus would see when he was doing healing work where the issues came from. She said in that chapter that even Jesus could not heal those that had heavy karma, those that were identifying so much with the conditions and they weren't ready. See, Jesus couldn't have power over other people because nobody, Dolores Cannon couldn't have power over others. I cannot have power, nor do I want it, over other people, because only we can really change ourselves. I think this is one of the key reasons why people don't heal, is because, one, they're not ready. Two, they don't want to take responsibility, because it takes responsibility to accept that we create our reality, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And not everybody is ready. In fact, we're living in times right now that not everybody is ready to make the evolutionary shift that so many are taking, which is to let go of some of the attachments, let go of some of the beliefs that we've had about ourselves and about life. Perhaps it's the area of forgiveness. Not everybody is ready to forgive the past. Some aren't even ready to forgive themselves because that is the thing that they hold on to. The mistakes, the past. See, if you identify with the past, you will, through your consciousness, be attached, and you will relive the past in the present, because that is where your attention is at. Similarly, you can, in any given moment, because that is where the power lies, relinquish or release anything that no longer serves you. We all have this opportunity. At any given moment, we can release that which no longer serves. Now, it doesn't matter how long you've had an issue. It doesn't matter how long you have identified with a particular way of thinking. You can release and relinquish it in the present. And then you, by your thoughts, you can create a whole new reality. Hello, Rebecca, who is in London. Now, can you let me know in the chat how bad and laggy this broadcast is, Aaron? If it's really bad, can you say really bad? Because I'm looking predominantly at the camera, because I want to look at you so you can see me, until I have a screen up on the next to my camera, I don't see unless I'm looking down. Aaron has said it's good now, because I just want to make sure, and forgive me for looking off screen, that we're getting a decent, just a decent stream here. Because it's no good if it's breaking up all of the time. And obviously this is out of my control if we're not getting a great broadcast. It just comes down to YouTube. All right, Aaron, let's go into the next question. I mean, we might need to go on for a bit longer today because we've had some buffering issues. Oh, good, it's perfect. I'm manifesting at the moment a day when our connections are perfect and without any issue. All right, now Emily asked, how do I overcome doubt and believe in my manifestation and believe that my manifestations will happen? So Emily, this is really important. We have to pay attention because our words give a lot of perspective to what we really believe. If you're looking to overcome something, then your perspective is that you've got to get from A to B. Manifestation will only occur when you believe that you have it already. So we have to get ourselves then from a place of wanting, of trying, to being. I'm going to say what I said earlier again, because it directly relates to what Emily is asking. First, you have to see yourself as already wealthy, as already well, as already whole, before you are going to see it manifest in your experience. People often think that this is a counterintuitive way of being. We think that first we have to see it, then we'll believe it. First you have to believe it, then you will see it. See, this is the opposite of how things really are. Now, for people, most people are stuck in this, I'll believe it when I see it. Sure, I need evidence. This is the whole conditioning of the analytical mind. We need evidence. We need proof. We want statistics. We want data. The way manifestation really works, it does not operate according to the laws of the analytical mind. It does not operate according to the laws of the egoic mind. It operates by the laws of attraction. And if you look at that word specifically, to attract, it points towards something. First, to attract to something, it needs to be of the same. See, like attracts like. Good attracts good. Negative attracts negative. If you don't like something, say it's happiness, right? Say you're unhappy and you want to be happy. You aren't going to find happiness out there. And that's exactly what we do. We look out there for everything we seek in here. And every single time we come up disappointed because you will never find anything out there because it can't be found out there. This is the theme that all of the spiritual masters have taught over the centuries. From the Buddha to Jesus. Jesus articulated it this way. He said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. People of his time asked him, where is the kingdom of heaven? When will we see it? And he said, you will never see it out there. You will only experience it in here because the kingdom of heaven is within. Likewise, the Buddha said something similar. He came across some people and he was telling a story. And in that story, he was talking about a beggar that was on the street. And he was searching and asking for wealth, money, begging. A master came along one day and asked the beggar what he was sitting on and if he had ever looked in the box in which he was sitting on. And of course he had never looked in that box before. He was using it as a seat. And he asked him to look inside, and inside he found treasure. See, what he was pointing to there, what Jesus was pointing to, is everything that we are seeking out there can only and already exists in here. It seems counterintuitive to the analytical mind. It seems counterintuitive to the ego that we could find something that we're already lacking in here. And yet every great spiritual master has taught us that. Everything that you seek is within you. Now, how do you get it? Because you might find in your experience, I want to be happy, and I'm not. I want to be peaceful, and I don't have peace. I can't sleep at night. I have depression. I have anxiety, and I'm desperate for peace. How can I find it within when I've never found it there before? That is the question we ask, right? When you understand that we create our reality, say I create my reality, it is your job to create it for yourself. See, you will never find happiness. You can only create it for yourself. Everything that you seek, first you have to create or cultivate it for yourself in order to experience it. I came to learn when I was desperately unhappy, when I was depressed, when I was anxious, and I was being medicated for depression and anxiety. That when I understood that only I could create my happiness, in that moment, I was free because I realized that only I could create that which I was seeking. See, the vast majority of people are looking for happiness in a relationship, in acquisition, in a career, and they'll never ever find it. Maybe it's in their physical attributes. There's probably a countless amount of ways that people look for happiness. And you know, and I know because we've had enough life experience to know that we see that those people always come up disappointed because you cannot find something where it cannot be found. There is only one place that true happiness exists, and that is within. And we won't just find it there by accident. We have to cultivate, we have to create it for ourselves. See, when you understand that you are infinite awareness, you aren't the physical, you're having that experience. Your awareness perceiving through your physical eyes, perceiving through your physical being, but you are infinite awareness that is having this experience that you call you, that I call me. When you understand that, you have a sense of responsibility that what you give your attention to is really important, because you understand what you give your attention to expands, and that's going to be your life. Often we think this is going to happen in a day or 2 days. We go, all right, I accept that. I'm going to try that. I'll go within. I'll try to create happiness. And we try it for 1 or 2 days, and we don't get the results that we want. And then we give up and we revert back to what is familiar, what we've always done before. And then we say it doesn't work. The law of attraction didn't work because I tried it and it didn't work. See, this will work if you work it and are consistent with it. This will work if you don't give up. For the majority of individuals, they give up because they don't see the result in the time that they expect it to. Say I've got to live this. You have to live this. This is a lifestyle, not a single act. When you make this your lifestyle, it has to work for you. It is law. The law of attraction is always working, just as the law of physics is always working. But in order for you to get according to that law, you have to operate within the parameters of the law. See, if you were to play with the laws of physics, the laws of physics are always going to play out exactly according to those laws. It can't be any other way. So it has to be the same with any law. It has to work, and you have to work according to that law, because it is always working. Someone says, just found the live stream and subscribed. I'm glad you've subscribed, and what you'll find specifically on this channel is content that is going to help raise your frequency, help raise your vibration. Now, why is that important to raise one's frequency, to raise one's vibration? Your frequency, like a broadcast, like a radio station, whatever frequency you are attuned to is the broadcast you are going to receive. If you're tuned into depression, anxiety, worry, fear, well, of course, according to that frequency, that is exactly what you're going to get more of, because that's what you're tuned into. Likewise, if you are tuned into joy, abundance, love, that is the frequency in which you are admitting, so that is the frequency in which is going to be broadcast back to you. We get what we're attuned to. We get what we put out. But how do I get from depression and anxiety? How do I get to love? How do I get to abundance? How do I get from poverty to abundance? First, you have to believe that you already have. This is the most challenging aspect. Moving from a perceived lack of to first believing that you are. Now, this isn't going to happen in a day. This is why so many will give up in the beginning stage of this. They don't see what they want in a day or week, and so they say, it doesn't work, I tried it, and then they go back to the way they were before. You need to be consistent. You've probably been, because I used to be like this, consistently negative for a very, very long time. It wasn't a day or 2 days or a week that had caused a negative life. It was a continuation of staying in that frequency that it would eventually manifest and become my life. So likewise, when you are stepping out to make this transition between the way you used to be and the way you want to be, it's going to take a process. Say I need to be patient. And consistency. These are the keys to creation. You have to be consistent. Now, I would say, the majority of people, they lack consistency. They try it and it doesn't work, so they give up. And then they'll search somewhere else, and then that doesn't work, so then look somewhere else. And they're on this ever-ending journey of trying to acquire. All right, we're going to take a short break now. And when we come back, we are going to get into some more questions. Aaron, I'm going to sit down and we're going to go through a range of different questions. We'll take a short couple of minute break. You can reset and we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, we should have sound now. Apologies from that. My mic was muted before. What I said, and I know you couldn't hear me, and apologies to Robin and those people I can see there, we didn't have sound for a second. We're going to go into some questions now. Aaron, let's start with our email questions. If you've got questions that you've asked or have, and you're watching live, or even if you're watching the replay, why don't you let me know some of the questions that you've got? And Aaron will retype those in for me. He will select some of those questions and retype them for me, and I'll read them after our email question. But first, I'm going to get to David's question. David is asking, what daily practices can I incorporate into strengthening my manifestation abilities? So, David, the number one thing that I do as a practice when it comes to manifestation is the practice of gratitude. Gratitude is probably one of the most powerful practices that we can have in our life. Why is that? Why is gratitude so important when it comes to manifestation? Now, it is more about you than anything else. See, the way you feel, before I was talking about frequency and about vibration, the better you feel, the more attuned your frequency is going to be to receive the broadcast and all of the stuff that you want to see. See, if you're tuned into negativity, if you're feeling depressed, that is the broadcast, like a radio station, that you're going to get. See, this is why when we wallow or we entertain negative thoughts, we feel bad because we get the feedback loop. We get all of the broadcast coming back to us. So the power we have is to elevate our frequency and our vibration to get that frequency of what we want. So this is what gratitude does. If you want to manifest, you've got to be grateful. You have to feel gratitude for what you already have. Because what gratitude's going to do, that frequency is going to broadcast back to you more to be grateful for. The more you show gratitude, the more you express gratitude, the more you identify with gratitude, the more you're going to see gratitude and things to be grateful for show up in your experience. Does anyone practice a gratitude journal? Is anyone writing down or has a gratitude practice? And there's so many different ways of doing this. For me, I'm working through a specific program at the moment of gratitude. And that incorporates doing some gratitude practices. It incorporates a gratitude journal and journaling, setting lists, seeing what I want to create, what I'm already grateful for, and also writing down things that even I haven't experienced yet that I'm in the creation process of doing. This is a powerful thing to do. So for example, I have got a list of 10 things written down on a list of things that I'm currently manifesting or working on manifesting in my life. One of the things on that list is I'm manifesting a wonderful trip to Italy. I've always dreamed about going to Italy. And on that list, I've been very specific about being grateful for that trip and experiencing that in my consciousness. Because see, I know this is that when I feel it and experience it in here, I'm going to experience it out there. This is how we create. First, we have to be it. Say I need to be it first. First, you need to be everything first that you want to experience. See, this is where we often get manifestation wrong. Or we make an error with manifestation. We wait for evidence to show up before we'll really believe it. We'll try it. We'll try manifestation, and when we don't see it working, we give up. You will only ever manifest anything from a place of knowing or believing. Now, the highest form of manifestation is always knowing. But you can also manifest from a place of believing. Now, to know something, no one can talk you out of it. Who has something in their life that they know it? It doesn't matter what others say. They know that they know that they know. Now that is the highest form of manifestation you can get to. But you can still manifest from a place of believing. But you won't ever manifest until first you really believe it. So what gratitude does is it gets you from a place of perhaps pessimism or unbelief to a place of belief. See, the more you cultivate something, the more you feel it, the more you experience it, the more you're going to believe it. See, what I do, say for instance, with my example, with my trip to Italy, I feel that experience in here. I look at advertisement for Italy. I look at documentaries of Italy. I get familiar with it. And I feel what it feels like. I experience it in here because it's becoming familiar to me. See, you're never going to manifest anything in your life unless you're first familiar with it. If it feels foreign to you, you're not going to be able to create it out there because you don't believe really it's for you. This is what creation is all about. We're not going to create something from a place of lack. You're never going to create abundance from a place of lack. You're never going to create anything from a place of non-belief. Now, your intentions are probably going to be really good. In fact, often people get to a place where they say that they're desperate, right? I'm desperate to be healed. I'm desperate to create abundance in my life because I'm experiencing poverty. Now, the universe will never respond to that. Who knows that? It doesn't matter how desperate we become, how sick we become. The universe is never going to, and it's not that it's wanting to withhold from you, but its job is to reflect back to you that in which you are. See, it gives us a lot of responsibility, doesn't it, when we know that we're creating it. If we're experiencing a lack of something, it's not that anything is being withheld from us, it's that we haven't first believed it for ourselves. See, it takes responsibility to accept that we create our reality. A lot of people don't want that responsibility. It's much easier to believe that life is unfair, that the universe is unjust, that lucky people get certain things and unlucky people don't. It's easier to blame our family. It's easier to blame our genetics. It's easier to blame all the outward conditions for our life than to accept that we've created it. But if you're truly ready to relinquish self-judgment, if you're truly ready to relinquish all of the things that don't really serve you and step into, and I see that down on my screen, Robin has said, I am, yeah. When you understand what Robin has just said then, when you understand that you are the I am awareness that operates in the limitless. You see, you aren't limited. You're only limited from the perspective of form. The true I am in which we all are, which is this infinite awareness, has no limitation. Limitation is only experienced on the mental plane. Now, the mental plane is what is between the infinite plane and the experience plane, or the world of reality. Some call this the subconscious mind. Now, this is always, and even psychology understands this, the mental plane or the subconscious impresses upon the conscious, and then what the conscious has been impressed upon becomes the reality. Now, metaphysics understand this, psychology understand this, because everything is a projection, remember. So first it has to be projected from the infinite to the mental plane, then to the physical plane. Robin, when we understand this, Aaron, we understand that we're creating everything. And when we understand that we create everything, we can have, like Dolores Cannon said, anything we want. Dolores Cannon said that we only experience lack and limitation because we are projecting or believing in lack and limitation. Someone asked earlier, can I be well of this condition? More importantly, do you believe that you can be well? Because if you can believe it, you can have it. There is no lack, and I quote Dolores Cannon, there is no lack or limitation, only that which we set for ourselves according to our belief. Because what you believe is creating your reality. What could you truly believe for yourself? See, that is the most important question. Do we really believe that we can do it? Do we really believe that we have the power? Or do we believe that we can manifest little things? See, I'll put it like this. In the world of infinite consciousness, infinite awareness, the I am that Robin points to, the challenge between creating a single dollar or manifesting a single dollar or manifesting $1 million, to the infinite I am awareness, there is no real difference. The difference is really of what we believe. See, infinite awareness wouldn't find it more challenging to manifest $1 or $1 million. The reason that a lot of people find it easy to manifest $1 is because they believe that it's easy to manifest $1 or a cup of coffee or something small or a gift or whatever it is. But when it comes to, it might be winning the lotto, $1 million, $100 million, we see, oh, that only happens very rarely, or that is something that, oh, I'm working towards, or I can do the dollar, but boy, I really need to become a good manifester before I get to that point. Do you see how the mental plane is influencing the physical plane? See, when you really believe something, when you not only believe it, but you know it, nobody is ever going to talk you out of it. And see, that's where you can experience in the present everything that you seek. See, I'm doing this in my own life. I'm already seeing things in a certain way. Now, someone might come along and say, well, I don't see any of that yet. Because I'm in a place of knowing, it doesn't matter what another person thinks. It doesn't matter what another person sees. It only really matters what I see, because I know from my experience and what I teach is that eventually those people will agree with me. Eventually those people will see what I've already seen. Are you brave enough in your own life to ignore and to disidentify with all of the negativity, with all of the pessimism, with all of the doubt, and start to really believe in the unseen realm? Because what you are going to identify is going to expand. It's working whether you accept this or not. Say thoughts become things. And the thoughts you've been having up until this very point in your life have created your life. Now, if you don't like the way your life looks right now, the great news about this is you can change it. You can change it by adopting or identifying thoughts that are going to serve you, that are going to uplift you, that are going to build the life you want rather than the life that perhaps you haven't desired. Let's get to the next question, Aaron. And if we've got anyone in the live that has asked a question, can you put it in there right now for me to read, Aaron? And then we'll go back to the email question. But if we haven't had any live questions, we'll go to the email. So you can line that up for me, Aaron. Thank you. And thank Aaron. He works so diligently in these live streams to manage the chat, to make sure it's a respectful environment. He manages all of the questions and lines them up for me. So thank you so much to Aaron. Send Aaron some love in the chat. Okay, Olivia wonders, how long does it normally take for manifestation to come to fruition? So this is another good one, isn't it? How long is it going to take? See, that's the belief. And no judgment there, Olivia. But what Olivia is really saying is when and how long. See, that is what you're going to get, because the vibration that you're putting out is when, how long, and that is really what is going to be mirrored back to you, is more time, more delay. In fact, I'll take it one step further than that. We can end up cancelling out the manifestation process by putting in the delay or believing that it's not working. We've cancelled it out by that belief. See, you have to use, like Robin used, I am statements. I am well. I have it now. Now, your analytical mind, of course, is going to say, well, I'm lying because it's not here now. I can't see it. I haven't received it. But see, this is what appears to be counterintuitive, is what you have to get to. You have to get to a place of knowing and believing before you're going to see it. Wayne Dyer said this, first you have to believe it before you see it. You have to believe it first. You will never see it until first you've believed it. And that is why most people never manifest. They wait to see it and then they'll believe it. And it doesn't work. I want you, rather, Olivia, to convince yourself that you have it. One great tool you might want to use is visualization. Visualization is a great tool, like gratitude, that you can get yourself familiar with that which you want to create. Make it so familiar to you that you can feel it, that you can taste it, that you can sense it. And once you've convinced yourself, once you truly believe that you have it, then you will be at the point of seeing it show up in your experience. Because remember, everything is responding to you. The law of attraction is not handing to you, it's responding to you. It's just mirroring back to you your state of consciousness. That's all it can do. It's your giant mirror. Say the law of attraction is my mirror, reflecting back to me that which I am. So first we have to become that thing. You want to be abundant. You want to be healthy. First, you have to be utterly convinced that you already are abundant. that you need to be grateful for what you have in abundance now. Be grateful for what you have. You have to wait for more of that to show up, and then you further identify with that. See, this isn't being a denialist, but we all have goodness in our lives. Most of the time, the analytical or the conscious mind focuses on all of the lack and the limitation. See, we have so much to be grateful for, but very little do we cultivate a practice that is grateful for what we already have. It's only being grateful for what you already have that you will have more come to you for you to be grateful for. What you focus on expands. What you give your attention to becomes more prevalent in your experience. This is how this law works. All right, Aaron, let's move to the next question. Someone has said 007 Mugs, nice username there. I don't know if you're a James Bond fan. You will never go higher than you believe. That's right. So we set the belief. We set the limitation by what we believe. That is exactly correct. You're never going to go higher until you're ready to, or you're ready to believe that level. That is why when I used that example of the dollar and the $1 million, most people can believe and have even experienced manifesting the single dollar, because we think that is easy. We think a dollar's not a lot of money. All money is energy. It's an accumulation of energy. In fact, everything is energy. All matter or form, it's not solid matter as it was once believed. It's just energy vibrating, oscillating at different frequencies. Quantum physics teaches us this. Quantum mechanics teaches us this, that everything is energy. You're only going to receive that frequency in which you're on. It's like a radio station. I said this before. I used this analogy before. You're only ever going to get the broadcast, the frequency in which you're attuned to. You can't get another signal when you're on the station. Now, you can turn the dial up if you want a higher signal. You have that ability, but you have to do the work. You have to do the turning. It's your responsibility. I love the using analogies because it helps us understand really how all of this stuff works. And it's easy to understand when we put it in these terms. Okay, James asks, what are the signs that my manifestation is close to happening? The major sign is belief, and to even further to know. Now, if you just know something, if you've convinced yourself so much that you know it, of course you're going to experience it. It's impossible for you not to. So let me say this, James. When you know whatever, and maybe Aaron, you can ask James if he's in the chat, what it is specifically that he wants to manifest. But let's say it was abundance. Now, abundance, of course, is much more than money. Abundance could be abundance of health. It could be an abundance of healthy relationships. It could be abundance of happiness, whatever abundance specifically means. But when you know that you have all of those things already, from a place of knowing, your knowing is just going to attract more and more of that to become evident in your experience. I would say, James, to answer your question, what are the signs? The signs are going to be your belief, your knowing. And when you're at that stage and you're not even asking that question, that is probably when you're going to see it. See, the questions not that there's any judgment around the questions, but the questions really do show me where people are at. And that is okay, because first we've got to accept where we're at in order for us to create something different, or for us to raise our frequency and vibration. And I'll put it this way as well. It's, remember, healing, manifestation is all a journey. It's not a destination. We're not trying to arrive somewhere. In fact, you'll never get there if you're trying to get there. First, you have to just be. You have to be there. You have to be there in here. It's not a destination. It's a journey that we're always moving. Nothing is in stagnation. The whole universe itself is in a constant state of movement and flux. Nothing is ever stagnant. So although you might feel like things aren't moving, or you might feel that you are stuck, you are never stuck. And things are always shifting and moving. All right. How are we going for time? Because I know we're a little bit over. We've had a bit of a break. And I know we had apologies earlier on there in the broadcast. We had some technical issues with breaking up. We're going to be meeting the same time tomorrow to do this live stream. It will be, I believe it's about 9 p.m. in New York. It's going to be 11 a.m. Sydney time. I believe that's about 6 p.m. Los Angeles time. The other parts of the world, I'm not sure, but if you can do a conversion of 11 a.m. Sydney time, you can convert it for your time zone. And they'll go for about an hour. These live streams generally go for about an hour's time. Gives people an opportunity to have their questions answered. Gives us enough time to go into some of these concepts. Linda has asked a question here. Is that a question? There's a bit of text in there. What I'll do in moving forward, if people have questions, I will just respond to what Aaron puts in there, because otherwise I'm trying to work through all the comments. Robin has said that it's 10:16 right now in New York City. So I think I was correct. It'll be 9 p.m., Robin, in New York tomorrow, 9 p.m. And this week we're going to trial from Monday to Thursday doing these live streams. And I know for America you're 1 day behind, so that'll be Sunday to Wednesday. We're going to be trialing doing this 9 p.m. New York time for Sunday to Wednesday, or if you're in Sydney, it's Monday to Thursday at 11. We're trialing this time to see if this time is a better time. If not, we'll revert to a different time next week. But we just want to accommodate as many people that are tuning in and are able to tune in to the live specifically. I think a lot of people like the interaction. They like the energy of the live rather than watching the replay. It's certainly been my feedback. So I want to accommodate those people as much as possible. And of course, a lot of the people that are tuning in are people I work with personally. We do one-on-one sessions together. And this is an opportunity for you to ask some of the questions that are coming up between the sessions that you are having. All right, well, I will see you at the same time tomorrow. I'm believing for less technical challenges, issues. Actually, more often than not, we haven't had any technical challenges, but from time to time with YouTube, that's just something we encounter, but we got through it. We had a bit of a break. We had a bit of a reset today. So tomorrow we should be wonderful. Remember, you are what you think about. Make sure you're identifying with all of the thoughts that you want to. You can choose the thoughts you're having, because remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the infinite awareness that is perceiving everything in your reality. That's how powerful you are. I'll see you tomorrow.